You open the app without announcing it to yourself. It's quiet, almost casual. The colors load. The numbers settle into place. Your thumb hovers for a second, then chooses an amount that doesn't feel dramatic. Just enough to register. The wheel spins, or the cards turn, or the numbers begin their small choreography. For a few seconds, everything else loosens its grip. The unfinished tasks, the mild disappointments, the low-level noise of the day. They soften at the edges. There is only this narrow corridor of anticipation. It's not loud. It's focused. When the result lands, your body reacts before your thoughts do. A flicker in the chest, a slight drop, a lift. Then stillness again, and almost immediately the possibility of the next round appears. From the outside, this sequence is often flattened into a single word: addiction, compulsion, loss of control. But inside the moment, it doesn't feel like collapse. It feels contained. Repetitive, yes, but patterned. There is something steady about the rhythm. Anticipation, outcome, reset. Anticipation again. It might not even be the money that holds you there. The numbers move, but they don't fully explain the pull. The strongest part seems to live in that suspended second before the outcome appears. The mind sharpens around uncertainty. It becomes alert, almost clean. Ordinary life doesn't always offer that sharpness. Most rewards arrive slowly. Effort stretches out. Results take time. Feedback is delayed. In comparison, this is immediate. Choice and consequence sit side by side. The distance between them is thin enough to feel. That compression has a certain clarity to it. Other people may prefer steadiness, predictable progress, gradual gains that don't spike or drop too suddenly. That rhythm works for them. It feels safe. But if you find yourself returning here, steadiness might feel muted, flat in places. Not wrong, just less vivid. There are also the near misses, the almost aligned symbols, the hand that falls just short, the outcome that feels close enough to suggest something unfinished. Those moments carry their own charge. They don't feel like simple losses. They feel like something that nearly opened. Even knowing each round is a separate part of you reacts as if proximity means movement, as if you're circling something. Over time, the game can start to feel less like a machine and more like an exchange. You try. It responds. You adjust. It responds again. There's a subtle sense of interaction even when you know the mechanics are indifferent. Control threads through this quietly. Not control over winning. Just control over the decision to continue. The timing, the amount, the pause. In other areas of life, control can feel distant or slow. Here, it's immediate. Tangible in small ways. Sometimes the urge appears at specific edges. After a day that felt blurred. After a conversation that left something unresolved. After a success that didn't land the way you thought it would. The intensity of the game overlays whatever was there before. It simplifies things. Win or lose, up or down, clearer than the softer emotions that don't fit neatly into categories. There may be older layers beneath it, a nervous system that learned to orient toward unpredictability, environments where shifts happen quickly, where you had to stay alert. In that context, volatility doesn't feel foreign. It feels familiar, calm, sometimes feels stranger. And then there's memory, a first win, a surge that cut through everything else, a moment where the ordinary rules seem suspended. That memory doesn't shout, but it lingers, as a reference point, as proof that something sudden is possible. From a distance, the pattern can look destructive. From inside it, it can feel like movement. Like you're reaching towards something that feels sharper than the background of everyday life. And sometimes, underneath all of it, there might be a quieter layer. A feeling that's harder to name, not dramatic enough to demand attention, but present. When the wheel spins, that layer fades. It becomes irrelevant for a moment. The focus replaces it. Maybe that's part of what keeps you there. Not recklessness, not ignorance. Just the pull of that narrow, concentrated second where everything else falls away. It doesn't mean there aren't consequences. They exist, tangibly. But inside the experience, the draw may not feel irrational. It may feel consistent with how aliveness registers for you, with how intensity cuts through fog. If you recognize yourself somewhere in this pattern, it might not feel like a confession, just a description. And maybe what lingers isn't the question of whether it's good or bad, but what exactly becomes quiet in you when the game begins.